And we're good to go this week. That's nice. All right. Thank you for listening to or watching the Upland Down Under podcast. The night show's recorded live on Thursday, 6th of June at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, don't go thinking I've got balked out audio again, although that might be an additional factor that plays out on the back end. But as you can probably hear in my voice, I've got a decent dose of man flow kicking me in the face at the moment. So this will likely, hopefully, be a much shorter show than usual. Anyhow, Swally is in. Hey, Swally, man.
What are you doing, bud?
How you doing, brother? Pretty good, thank you. Right, on tonight's show, we're going to catch up on the Upland market floors, review and reflect on Leaderboard Gate, and discuss the official partnership between the Sandbox, Metaverse and Upland. The main topic for tonight's show is Upland's rolling the dice with Genesis Week release being a full expansion of Bermuda. Is this an epic move worthy of the Genesis Week hype? Or is it one that's lacking in imagination and planning? Or just maybe there's a whole lot more to the story that hasn't yet been revealed. We've got QIPS on watering your plants, AI in the metaverse, and a bit of a bipolar deluge from someone you know. And of course, we'll take a look at another Upland community member spotlight care of the Dynamic Node Builders team. Tonight, we'll also be giving away a whopping 95,000 UPX, might be 105,000, 2 map assets from the Dynamic Node Builders, and a killer 3-piece graveyard map asset set from show sponsor Laban and his Metaventure Graveyard Goods. We'll also debut a very hastily put together new format for the live participants wheel, which will see one of our community members winning either 10,000 UPX or a mystery map asset. That'll take the 2024 giveaway tally to at least 875,000 UPX and 52 map assets. All that and more on this, the Upland Down Under podcast. Yes, show sponsor Laban, thank you very much for looking after us. Mr. Laban, we got this week and one more week to go, I believe. So if you haven't caught this yet, tonight's show is again proudly brought to you by the one and only Laban and his brand new UGC map asset Metaventure Graveyard Goods, with showrooms currently located in Oakland and LA. Drag your bones over to visit one of Graveyard Goods' showrooms and bring your property to life or death with some killer Gravestone Map Assets. Terrifyingly affordable and guaranteed not to leave you in the grave financially. Choose currently from 3 different models to suit your haunting needs. And don't forget that if you own a property in Lone Mountain, San Francisco, you can slash 50% off the retail price. Just DM Laban. For more details, either in-game or on Discord, give Laban a follow on X while you're at it, so your meat suit can stay freshly updated with everything happening at Graveyard Goods. Links to the showrooms and his X account are, of course, in the description. All right, if you're wondering how you can take part in the live streaming of this podcast, I dropped the link to the live stream in the NBA server Thursday nights about 6:45 p.m. AEST. If you get in on that link, you can see me scrambling and a bit of pre-show chit-chat usually as well. Of course, you can always just keep your eyes and ears out for the associated YouTube and X feeds, which seems to be working. All that and more, of course. Now, before we go too far, we better run the disclaimer. I've got a bit of a brand new one. Well, not new. A bit of
Warning, this podcast is produced by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment, contains unsolicited and heavily biased opinions which are solely the views of the individuals involved.
There you go. Because I realised I was sharing the other one. It was just blaring music, no audio. So, all right, with all that being said, let's get stuck into the breaking badly news and take a look at what's currently happening in some of the markets. It'll be interesting to see here what the response has been, of course, to the announcement about the Genesis Week City. It's not even a release, is it? It's an expansion. So what do we got here? 90-day averages down on the transaction volume 3.3%, down on the trading volume 1.6%, unique active wallets up 0.5%, over 75,000. Total unminted properties had 2,333 properties minted through the week, still over 306,000 properties available. Total properties for sale pretty stable, 746,379. Not much happening there. USD floor markup percentages, a few extra 24s here. 24% in Kansas, 24% in Nashville. What else we got? 25% in Chicago, 28 in Dallas, 28 in Las Vegas, 27 in London, 26 in LA. Yeah, lots of red, lots of orange. Bargains galore if you're a USD shopper. You will see that I talked about it last week, I have patched in now, so it shows where the floors are at $3. So you can see here, Birmingham last week wasn't $3. It has joined the $3 club, and you look, it's more than half of the cities are now on the $3 floor, which is kind of bananas. Anyhow, I didn't get a chance to look at these before we took off. What's actually happening? Bermuda up on the UPX. Is that right? Bermuda up on the UPX. Crazy.
That,
And
my
up
guess,
on the
that
USD
would
as
be.
well.
Sorry, my guess that would be people trying to buy a launchpad property
Launch, yeah.
so they can send their Explorer off in the right direction.
That's an expensive launch pad. Jesus.
Not if you end up with a ultra rare or something.
Well, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, I guess it depends where it's located and what your plans are. On the flip side, the USD outcruise hard at work in Birmingham, up 9.1% on the USD, was just under 9,000 last week, now pushing towards 10, down 14% and change on the USD on the USD was $3.50 last week, $3. Same thing happening in the Bronx. UPX is getting raised, the USD is dropping. Not much happening there. What's this? Dallas down almost 20%, was just under 14,000 last week, now 11,222. Down a whopping 36% on the USD, was $5.50 last week, $3.50. I'll probably be joining the $3 Red Club soon. Lots of flats. What's that one? Las Vegas. Surprisingly enough, you'd think that'd have a little bit of a boost. People going to Las Vegas who might not have a property there. But no, down 8% on the UPX, pushing towards 10,000, and down almost 20% on the USD. Racing towards that $3 floor as well, was just under $4, now $3.20. Bit all over the place. Miami down up 10% on the UPX, stuck on $5. Oakland up 20% on the UPX, and then lots of $3. Nothing else really jumping out. Slough down 25% on the UPX. No surprises there. 5,200 last week, now down under 4,000. South Lake Tahoe's taken a bit of a hit, was just under 18,000 last week, down almost 20% to 14,444, but a little bit of a boost on the USD. Was 525 last week, now 535. Not much happening anywhere else. All right, it's going to be more fascinating to see how the Bermuda market's probably not next week's show. It'll be the week after that'll really capture it, because, you got collection review and yada, yada, yada. All right, now let's see where we're up to. So, yes, leaderboard gate. I know, Swally, this got your nose out of joint a bit through the week. How much of this did you want to dive in yourself? Did you want to give everyone the general heads up? I guess we can start by throw another shrimp on the barbie. Oh, good on you, mate. So this announcement here by Lisette, who says the Genesis Challenge leaderboard has been updated to correct an error which allowed players to make and break collections to receive points for the completed collection task. The leaderboard should now appropriately reflect collections that are initially made first-time collections from Monday, June the 3rd, yada, yada, yada. Yes, Swally, what was all this about, mate?
All right, so me not being an OG player, I've not participated in one of these competitions before, or challenges before, so this is all new to me. And I told away treasure hunting, focusing on accuracy, not speed, trying to maximize the amount of points I get from treasure hunting. I thought with my treasure hunting that I do, I might be a chance to go all right at this. Obviously, there's other ways you can get points as well. So I'm toiling away, and I've managed to get, including buying properties and finishing off some collections. Like I think I bought 2 or 3 blue collections in cities that I didn't own on just to get that collection for the first time, stuff like that. Anyway, so I ended up with about 900 points on day one. I thought I was doing all right. But then I look at the leaderboard and see people on 9,000 and 6,000. I'm like, WTF? And the only way I could see that you could do that is buying 600 properties. But you can easily see on the blockchain that no one had bought 600 properties. So I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? So I took to Upland in general just to try and find out what's going on, and very quickly learned that simply you could break an already made collection and then reset it, and that counts as 25 points. And then apparently you can only do it for once for each collection you own. So if you own 400 collections, there's a crap load of points, and that's how you end up with 9,000 points. Apparently that's been ongoing for a long time, and it's not something new, so players obviously knew that straight away and did it straight off the bat. It was new, like I said, it was new to me. Obviously it's not kind of what Upland were going for, and they've jumped onto that one pretty quickly and fixed it up. So I'm no doubt there's a few players out there, including friends of this show, that might be a bit butthurt about it. But it is what it is, and now you're actually playing and earning points. I mean, there's still players out there with some bloody huge points. I don't know how they get as high as they're getting. I haven't dived into their accounts or anything to look at why. I mean, they're not astronomical like 9,000 in one day, but I've spent probably best part of 12 hours every day toiling away, and I'm only just sort of pushing 2,000 points. So just hanging on to the top 10 was what I was aiming for to begin with. Hopefully I can hang on there, and I've still got some more treasure hunting to do tonight. But yeah, mental health. Yeah, mental health to get that 4,000. Like that, anything above 2,500 to me is sort of blowing my mind. Knowing how much that I put in now, it doesn't mean he hasn't gone and bought a whole bunch of properties, and finished a whole heap of collections or something. But I mean, again, I haven't dived into the account or anything like that. I'm not too concerned with that. Like 9,000 points in one day was sort of a bit, what the hell? But like I expected, none of these things are easy to win. Like to even get top 10, which I'm sure it's not going to be worth the effort by the time I get there, just to receive a Bermuda property.
Yes.
10
There's
points.
Me with my big 10 points. You.
Or 10 cents.
Yes. Yes. I don't even know what it was for. Probably visiting a metaventure or something, I suppose. I don't know.
You get 3
for
a send.
You're right. Maybe. Yeah, it was always going to piss off somebody, that move. But it's frustrating from a community perspective that, as you said, this was a known issue.
Yeah.
It should have been fixed up long before this all went. You can't really fault the people who.
Well, that's it. It's not like the players. It's not that the players were cheating or anything like that. They were just exploiting something in the game that was available to them.
Yep.
And obviously, it didn't take long for me to work out what it was, and I could have done the same. Obviously, I don't have 400 collections, so I was never going to be able to catch some of the big boys.
Yep.
And obviously, it's not what Upland were intending to have as part of this competition or challenge.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not dirty against any of the players that were doing it. It's just they were using something to their advantage. But yeah, Upland, if this has been going for a couple of years now, Upland should have been well and truly onto it. And they were. They fixed it within 12 hours of it. People talking about it in general.
Yep.
So I don't know. Are the devs better these days than they were a couple of years ago? I don't know. But or is it the same problem? They're going to have the same problem next time they do this tournament, and then they're going to have to come back and fix up the code or something. Yeah, it's disappointing that Upland didn't nip this in the butt to begin with.
Yeah, I spoke to a few people in DMs, like there was the conversation with yourself, of course. There's a few others where, like, this whole leaderboard system, it's almost never works. It's always janky. It gets updated bloody manually whenever the hell. It just seems utterly bizarre. I believe we've got a QIPS coming up about it, but yeah. This is a blockchain. It should be way more streamlined.
Yeah, but I don't understand why. Okay, you look at like the number 1 player there, and he's got some good points, and not astronomical points, but some good points, and he's clearly going to win and deserves the win. But I'd love to see a breakdown of how he's scoring the points, just so I know where I need to improve in future. He's getting 1,500 points a day. Now, if he's just simply buying 100 properties a day, well, then there's not much I can do about it, unless I just want to go out and spend that sort of cash as well. Not buying, minting. But if it's through treasure hunting, which it probably is, because some people that treasure hunt those really small cities can do 150, 200 treasure hunts in a day. I mean, it could be as simple as that. And if that's the case, he's got something that I'm never going to be able to match. But like I said, my goal was to get top 10. But yeah, the only way you can improve is to be able to assess yourself against your competition and see where you can improve for next time. But you can't do that. I can just look at my total score and go, okay, well, I'm about half of what they are, I need to improve, but I don't know where or how.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole neighborhood ratings leaderboard as well. You know,
Yeah.
that there's no transparency whatsoever. I mean, I'm sure they got their reasons for that, but yeah, it'd be nice to have some extra details. More information is generally never a bad thing. Yes. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there for that one. Yeah, as I said,
Yeah.
bit of generalised butthurt here, there, and everywhere, but that was going to happen either side of the however it played out. On more positive news, we did have as well, after last week's show, there was the big announcement that Upland and the Sandbox game have officially partnered. This one got me pretty excited straight away, so much so that I spent an hour or two, I think it was on Saturday, and I pushed out a little video there about that. I was pretty pumped about this. What about yourself, Smiley Man? Does this get your juices flowing?
I have played Sandbox in the past. I no longer play Sandbox. I'm 100% dedicated to Upland, and we'll leave it at that.
Nice. Yeah, so if you didn't see, I did put out this little video here. Doesn't go for very long. Kind of my top 5 reasons why I think this is such a big deal. If you weren't fully on with all that entailed, basically the gist of what I said was that the partnership between the Sandbox and Upland is set to bring incredible benefits to both communities. I think that's one of the biggest factors, from enhanced interoperability and strengthened economies to increased community engagement and a shared vision of an open metaverse. Remember, this all probably stems from that WEB3 partnership, where there's a whole bunch of players involved in that. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about this. There's a lot of interesting crossovers as well. The Sparklet token and the Sand token both feature a big S on them. Both metaverses have UGC royalty set at 2.5% kickbacks. So yeah, clearly this is something that had been worked on or brewing away for quite a while. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. How this is going to play out with Sparklet going on an official exchange and whatnot, it's going to be pretty damn fascinating. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of articles that have been put out. There's very low on details. It's basically same as what I did, rehashing some of the basic details of it all. Probably this is one of the big things. The Sandbox will conduct an exclusive drop of its neighbourhood's virtual properties in Upland to landowners. Uplanders, as the community, we know what that is. So yeah, there's going to be a crossover. The Sandbox is apparently going to have its own neighbourhood somewhere in Upland, and the Sandboxes within Upland, they're going to have their own little spot in the Sandbox metaverse as well. So there is some full-on cross-promotional sort of stuff going on, as you would expect. More details apparently going to be released at Genesis Week, so I imagine there's probably some pretty big information in there that's going to be one of the clangers for Genesis Week. Speculation's rife about boats, and because there's some of the imagery that showed boats and whatnot. So yeah, who would know? Don't know. I thought it was pretty exciting myself. See, here we go. All right, we're racing through it this week because yeah, hopefully I can get through this before I die of man flu. Poor me. So main topic for the show, of course, Genesis Week. There's lots. If you go over on Twitter, there's people. They're taking screenshots. They're taking selfies. They're taking movies. They're on the train. They're on the bus. They're on the plane. They're in the taxi. If you're over there and head that way, good on you. I said to D-Tech through the week in DMs, take it easy, look after yourself, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, and that's not just financially. That can go into many different avenues if you're talking about somewhere like Las Vegas. So yes. So now, I don't know. Speculation was rife about the big Genesis Week city release. Paris is a bloody. There was speculation in the end based on the Genesis season pass. It looked like it was over Spain, so is it Madrid? There was another one in the US. What was that? Not Brooklyn, not the Bronx. I keep blanking on it. What is it?
Boston,
thank you. Whether it's Boston. Then there was some late speculation that it was going to be Seattle. I would have been fairly excited about Paris or Madrid, less so about Boston or somewhere like that. Bermuda expansion. I don't think anybody was thinking that, were they?
No, I hadn't heard anyone say it.
I read that this morning, and it was about 4:30 a.m. when I got up, and I read the announcement. I was just like, "What?" I haven't actually read the post myself, so I got no idea about what the details are.
No,
What
nor
was
have I.
your first reaction, or anybody in chat? What
I
was your
was-
first reaction when you saw that?
I was still up when it was released because I was still
really?
toiling. Yeah, I was still grinding away. I was on night shift mode from working over the weekend anyway, so I've sort of stayed on that because it all started at 2 a.m., the 3-day thingy. So I've pretty much been starting at 2 a.m. and going through. And I was aware that they were probably going to announce it last night, given the 2 or 3 days out from Genesis Week. So I was interested to see what city it was. I've been holding off. I've been squilling away my UPX for the last couple of weeks for this release, and I was up to about 2.5 million, of which I pretty much spent all of it within about half an hour of the announcement. Nothing against Bermuda. If I wasn't so invested in Washington and wanting to buy collection properties in Washington, I'd be more enthusiastic towards it. But because I wanted to pick up a couple of expensive properties there, I couldn't really justify hanging on to it for Bermuda. So I just snapped. And as it was, I picked up the last M Street, minted the last M Street last night in Washington. So there was a whole bunch, and all of a sudden they're all disappearing. So I won't be participating in Bermuda myself, but it's not because I'm not excited, although I don't think it's as exciting as it could have been. Like, everyone was speculating France or Paris, but every time we've all speculated and been pretty sure it's going to be something, Upland have gone the other way, which is why I've always said everyone thinks it's France, so it's not going to be France. And I've been on that train from the beginning. I don't think I've ever agreed once it was going to be Paris, and I still think Paris will be later in the year, something to do with the Olympics. That makes more sense, but then I think that, so it probably won't happen either.
Yeah.
Also, Elslake had a good point though. There's 10 collections for a relatively small release. That's a lot of collections. Now, I assume, I mean, he said there was 9 suburbs and 10 collections. So obviously, there's going to be some streets, probably some sort of special type buildings, like your fire stations or police stations, or something to do with Bermuda, no doubt. There'd be some sort of museums or something, or memorials or something like that.
Shore properties or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. So there's probably going to be 4 or 5 collections that aren't suburb related or neighborhood related, but there's still a lot of collections for a relatively small release. So good chance of picking some stuff up. So not a super exciting release, but it's still all right, I guess. And it's sort of sport a little bit by the fact that it's already partially released. But if it hadn't been partially released, I think this would have been a really good release.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I agree. So yeah, what do we got here? We got the official announcement. Bermuda opens at Genesis Live. Explore Upland's full island release. This was the imagery that they must have been talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, boats and the specialist properties there. Oh yeah, could be a hint. So every year at Genesis Live, we open a special and unique city. Well, no, you're not. You're expanding an existing one. So that's balked from the get-go. This year, we're beyond excited to announce the full release of Bermuda in Upland. Okay, Bermuda details, Mofo AM, 16,500 properties. Other than the initial April Fool's opening, this will be the only other opening for this city. Well, is it? Yeah, it's other people have said it's not even a city, is it? It's a country or something.
No, territory.
Yeah, territory. So, a bit of a weird one there. 100% of the city is going to be open. Airport terminal, yes. 10 collections here. That's what you're saying. 10% FSA properties. Whole bunch of landmarks. Prices. They're being brave putting these out there again. Minimum 1,558. That's crazy low, even for FSA.
FSA.
Maximum.
They should have 2 separate ones for that. FSA,
Yes,
non-FSA lows.
Should. Absolutely, I agree. Maximum 1.5 mil and change, which is pretty reasonable. Average price 62,000, skewed dramatically, of course, because of how low that is and how modestly high that is, I suppose. So yes, I don't know what you're going to have to go over there. It costs a fair bit just to get over there. So
not from Miami.
I don't know. Not from Miami. Well, you got to get to Miami first, I suppose, if you're not there.
Oh, the East Coast isn't too
Uh,
bad.
Yeah. Collection reveal a week after, of course. Collection reveal schedule. All right. Bermuda travel guides. All right. Big Bermuda giveaway. What's this? To celebrate Bermuda's full opening during Genesis Live, we will reserve several large properties on the island for a special giveaway. Players. Oh, that's cool. They did this last time, didn't they?
Yeah,
Something
so
like this.
once again, it's a competition for those closest to the server. So us Aussies will have
Maybe
no
not
hope.
38th mint. So
No,
you're in with a chance there. No
there's
chance.
thousands of people in the states already minting as soon as it goes green. No, we need we're only talking half a second delay, but that half a second is the difference between. And anyone that's tried to play games on an American server from Australia or vice versa, you know what that half a second does. It puts us out of the running. We've got no hope.
And you're going to have a couple of hundred people at Genesis Week Live who are going to be all about it. So, yeah. Imagine the FOMO in that room is going to be out of control. So,
I mean, they showed us the stats with Washington that the first property was minted like 5 point something seconds after it was released, but second place was 0.0018 behind it or something. And I'm willing to bet that the top 100 or the first 100 that was sold were all within that 0.001, that fraction of a second. It would have been thousands of a second.
Yes. And we've got 5 new residential designs and 2 factory options. Well, there you go. I thought a CM said there's going to be no Metaventures on Bermuda. There was, because I believe it was Hanzilla asked about, is there going to be a city hall on there? And I believe the answer at the time was no. So that's an interesting one. Okay. 2 factory options. So it looks like I will have to get at least 1 property over there on the
2 factories, but what about showrooms?
Well, yeah, it doesn't say that, does it? So that'd be weird. Why would you have factories and no showrooms?
Yeah, are you sure one of those aren't a showroom? 1 factory and 1 showroom?
No, they both look factorish, don't they? And it does say 2 factories, 5 residential designs, and 2 factory options. There's the 5 residentials. They look like bloody, I don't know, Baskin Robbins ice cream cakes, which is pretty cool.
I was thinking
if that's what's going to be there.
I was thinking they do look a bit cakeish. Who was it?
Yep.
Jimmy said they looked a bit cartoonish, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you. They look like almost like gingerbread cake type things. They look cool though. They're different, and I like them. I like the fact that it's a unique compared to the rest of Upland.
What would be good is if they made Bermuda. Well, no, these are the only ones you can build.
It is.
Make it so it does be unique.
Well, up to this point, I don't know about after the release, but up to this point, that is all you can build. Those 3.
You can't just put a regular apartment or a townhouse.
No, if you go look at St. George's, which is probably more than 50% built out. They're all these type of structures that you can't select any of the normal original structures.
Well, there you go. All right, there you go. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and because everyone jumped on there straight away, that's why I think Billman brought up, he goes, there's a chance that this could, rocket up the leaderboard in the neighborhood challenge because everybody was building there. I mean, there's very little homes and stuff like that there, and certainly no coordination, but there's my property. First one there on bottom corner. It's one that I haven't built it. The land. I own that, but I own 2 others nearby as well. I haven't built on that one because that was my biggest one. That was the first one I minted.
Holy moly!
Yeah, that's why I haven't built there. It's to see what happens with Bermuda if they do some sort of water building or something like that. So I own 3, so I've already got the collection, which is part of the reason why I'm not probably going to travel out there. I built the other 2 up. I just haven't built that 3rd one. I thought I'd wait and see what other buildings they bring out, if any.
Yes. No, I certainly won't be getting up at Mofo AM for a city expansion. I'll wait and I'll keep a close eye on the secondary markets and see how we go. And I'll buy a showroom-ish size property, and just see how it plays out.
Even if you can't
up for it though,
put a showroom on it.
Yeah, well, who knows? We'll wait and see how that pans out. So we've also got Mint Master badges. City openings offer a golden opportunity to secure the prestigious Mint Master badge. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Bermuda Sweetener Sale. We're excited to announce the Bermuda Sweetener Sale, offering UPX and a commemorative Block Explorer. Oh, that's cool. They're going to do this. So you get 30,000 UPX and a Block Explorer for $30. Okay. Wow, that looked pretty cool. I won't be buying one, but I like them.
No. Yeah, they're not too bad, but I've spent too much money on Washington. I think I'll
Washington. Well, you did that straight away, didn't you? You just got the FOMO completely out of your system. Can't have FOMO if you're broke. Bermuda Pass. Okay, yeah, 15% chance of a property. Yeah, just remember, if you are buying one of these passes, that guarantees you the property, but it doesn't guarantee you, or it doesn't give you the UPX to mint the property. Yeah, right there.
That's correct.
And you have to travel there to be able to get it as well. So I don't think you're going to drop $5 and get a property. There is other costs involved, including the travel and the minting costs.
So this is the same as Washington, and I don't understand this compared to the previous passes I've had, like at South Tahoe, where you could put a unique building on that property.
Yep.
I don't see Bermuda, even with only 16,000 properties there, I don't see it selling out. So you're not going to struggle. No. No, it's going to be too expensive. It's not super expensive like Washington was, but it's going to... I don't think the demand's there. I've been wrong with every other prediction, haven't I? So, I'll make another wrong one. I don't think it'll be hard to go pick up a property if you want one anyway. So, I don't know. I don't see the point in paying $5 to have a property reserved when more than half of them don't get minted historically anyway, unless you've got a collection property. And even then, sometimes, like in Washington, the collection property wasn't that special.
Yep.
I struggle to see the purpose of getting it. Like, I could understand it if you could put that unique property on it, and then there's only going to be a maximum of 1,000 of these properties, which I think were already reduced because some properties weren't going to fit it.
Yep.
But Washington didn't have the unique building. Now we're not going to have it again for Bermuda, so all you're doing is paying $5 to have a 15% chance of a collection, which I think you got a better than 15% chance if you just go there and mint something.
Yeah, probably. Yep. Yeah, well, I guess it depends. If it doesn't mint out and there's still a significant amount of properties over there, I may be tempted over there for collection reveal. But I'm definitely not getting up for the expansion. Not happening. Is one of those hoods locked for sandbox? Good question, Alan. There's been no word of that. I would be surprised if they were going to do that both at the same time. I think something as big as that deserves fanfare and publicity all on its own.
Where is Sandbox based? Like, where are their headquarters?
In real life, I've got no idea.
Yeah. Because, I haven't researched. I don't know where their headquarters are, but if it's somewhere in Europe, I would suggest that if we do get another European city, such as, I don't know, Paris, that's where the Sandbox headquarters will be, or the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. Again, just a guess, though.
Yeah, I think that'd be something that's definitely pumped up a bit more than just... And by the way, also, here we go. Wait, see. All right, while we're on the kind of topic of what's been happening, just going to give a quick shout out to, speaking of South Lake Tahoe, have a look at Old Mate Pioneer Village. I believe we're 100% built out over there now.
Yeah, I saw that.
See
nice.
Any gaps there?
No.
Yeah, very cool.
Unless someone demolishes.
Someone demolishes? Yeah, what have I got? I got 1, 2... I think I've got 4 properties there. As I said, if you did want to get in over there, I'm certainly not looking to make bank on it. What have we got? 27,000. That can't be there, is it? No. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to zoom in on it. I could go to UPX World, but I won't. $40. Oh yeah, that's probably cheaper than what I'd sell it for. 68,000. Oh, someone after my own heart right there. 68,000. Yes, so shout out to them. I don't think sure, that looks cool, but that's never going to factor in the neighborhood ratings because there's so many other things that go in with neighborhood ratings. So.
Well, yeah,
Sucky.
I don't. Well, now that you've all built out, you can't get the spark part of it, but you can still get the home ownership and map assets, which could start scoring you up. And because it's such small suburb, it wouldn't take a lot to move the needle, I would have thought. But then again, we don't know how that metric works.
Yes,
we
don't know.
Wouldn't say it's impossible, but yeah,
very low chance. So yes, in final kind of, I said, is this Bermuda expansion, is it lacking in imagination and planning? It's certainly, that's the way I read it from the get-go. To me, it doesn't seem anywhere near worthy of Genesis Week. Genesis Week is by far the biggest thing on the Upland calendar. A full expansion for Genesis Week just seems a bit povo, but as I said at the start of the show, maybe there's a whole lot more to the story that hasn't yet revealed itself. Boats, who knows? Kind of like what you said, Swally, taking a punt out there and minting something, you may not realise what you've got until a bit further down the track. Upland loves to do that sort of stuff. So if you're patient and if you're a bit of a hodler and you get onto something, you may be rewarded. Not financial advice, not game strategy advice. And I certainly won't be taking it, but who knows?
I think the people speculating on that picture with boats, I think they're reading too much into it, because I think when you think of Bermuda, you think of boats going missing, stuff like that. So I think that's all they've really gone for there. I don't think there's anything that, I don't think we're going to see boats in the next 12 months anyway. They've already got too much on their plate.
Well, that was it. All that speculation from Paris, that all stemmed from reading what was in pictures. So that all turned out to be nothing, at least at this point.
I don't understand why we want or need boats anyway. Like, what are boats going to offer in the game that we don't already have? A slower transportation from one.
Yeah, we don't need them, but it's stuff that Upland can sell to keep the lights on in the office.
Yeah, but airplanes are a bit different. Like, that's a faster transport, and if you've got your own plane, you won't have to pay the 1,500 UPEX or whatever each time you fly somewhere. And if you're a treasure hunter, like competitive one that moves around, that could be quite useful in saving a little bit of coin. But boats to get you from, say, the US to Europe, like, it's just going to take 5 times longer than a plane. Like, I don't.
You're missing the point, mate. There's going to be speed boats. There's going to be passenger boats. There's going to be cargo boats. You'll have to wait 3 years.
Cargo boats, I get that one.
Yeah.
Because if we do bring in the transport, what do you call it? The transport mechanism. Yeah, I get mechanics. That, but mechanics, that's the one. But as far as transport for ourselves, I don't get it.
Laban's just dropped the clanger in chat in StreamYard. Transportation to new island releases with no airports. Can't get there by car. Can't get there by train. You could only get there by boat. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. That's a good way to push the FOMO and push you into having to buy one.
We'll see a USD only release before we see that, I think.
Yeah. All right. You put the call out. We'll see what happens. All right. Moving on to our QIPS. If you have an Upland-related question, insight, provocation, or statement that we can dive into on the weekly Upland Down Under podcast, then there's a link to the QIPS Google form in the description. And if you include your in-game name in your submission and it's used on the show, you win yourself some kind of prize. 3 people today got 10,000 UPX in their pockets after fees for doing just that. And I should say too, all of the UPX prizes that are dropping tonight, almost, or maybe even over 100,000 UPX worth, I will endeavour to get those pushed out tonight so that if you are a winner and you want to head over to get involved in the Bermuda release, you have a bit extra coinage in your pocket. So here we go. All right, this week we start off with a Metaverse question from 6Wick6. He asks, is it safe to put ice cubes in your potted plants as a way to get them watered? I read this, I thought, what's he going to Las Vegas and he's worried about his tomato plant dying on the balcony or something? No, I don't think that's a very smart thing to do. First of all, because it's not really good. You're going to freeze all the living bacteria and whatnot, or certainly shock them, and then it's just going to melt and disappear anyway. I don't know. What would be the US equivalent of Bunnings? Walmart? Do they have a I don't know. What do you got?
Oh.
People in chat from the US. Do you have like a full-on massive hardware store
Yeah, they do. What is it?
that's
Costco
like
or something, isn't it?
Walmart?
Is it Costco or?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's Bunnings over here. You go over and I'll be going there tomorrow. Buy some wood, buy some concrete, get a sausage and a piece of bread. That's what we've got here. There's all sorts of products you can get. Back when I used to live in an apartment, I used to buy these water crystals that you put in and it's soaked up, but this probably gives you freaking butthole cancer. Who knows? The other thing you can do is put a pet bottle upside down with a tiny little pin prick in it. So yeah, I thought it must have been about going to Las Vegas, but he goes on to say, I hope we won't have plants that require watering in Upland. There's enough going on. I'm going to keep... sorry. So yeah, maybe like a totem system. I would imagine if we're going to have living things, which we know we are, they're going to have to be fed. They're going to have to be watered. Probably be a very similar setup to the whole totem thing, the feeding and optimal feeding. I would imagine that's all coming eventually soon, one day maybe. And then just as a bit of a little extra, he said, I'm going to keep at it, meaning submitting QIPS, until there's enough people sending in QIPS that I have to finally pick and choose. Well, I did pick and choose this week, mate. I thought that was just a random one to get us kicked off. So 10,000 UPX on the way for 6 weeks, 6 for that. It's as simple as that. Next up, speaking of El Slack, the vulgar uplander himself, he asks, with the Genesis theme looking like it's some kind of computer or tech theme, how soon do you think before they start integrating AI into the fold outside of generating art? How do you see them using AI in the metaverse? Also, do you see any positive or negative outcomes? Well, we do know that Upland's already used AI extensively to create map assets, and totems are an example of that, to create the lore associated with totems. I believe that AI worked out all the behind-the-scenes mathematics for the feeding and all of that sort of stuff as well. So I believe they're already using it quite extensively. How do I see them using it in the future? I kind of talk about this in the Block Web Beat podcast I do. I talk about this a fair bit. I think AI, most of the AI stuff is going to be things we already do. Like even now, if you go to do anything with your bank or, your utilities, you're always pushed to some bloody chatbot AI thing that wants to talk to you before you can get in like an actual call center person's ear. Something like that would be amazing in Upland to onboard new players. I think it'd be, well, it's very easy for me to say it'd be easy to do, but you imagine you join in Upland and there's a little bot there that says, do you need any help? And if you have questions, you just ask it directly. Currently, the Upland community in Discord's serving that purpose, but, not everyone's on Discord. Not everyone's willing to put their neck out there and go with it. That's kind of my 2 cents. Ali, where are you?
A ChatGPT plugin would fill that role perfectly, wouldn't it? That repetitive same question 1,000 times by 1,000 different players. It'd be absolutely brilliant for it.
Yes, so I'd love to see that aspect. So you jump in and any question you had, any concerns, if that could be tied in with markets as well, you could ask, I'm thinking about buying this property. Is this a good deal? Well, the bot could crawl the bloody data and say, well, here's the low price, here's the high price, here's why it's a good idea, here's why it's a bad idea. Make your choice.
Yeah, markup price versus minimum sell price or whatever it is. So
yeah, it'll probably ask you, what are you trying to do here? You're trying to flip it for profit? You're trying to hold it for a metaventure? What's your purpose? There's 1,000 different ways they could play it. So yeah, I think it would be mostly positive. Negative, I don't know about the negative. Unless they get those bloody sex bots in, like you go and start following people on X on Twitter, you just get bombarded with Xbox. Oh, Ben68, I'm the horniest I've ever been. Click this link and I'll send you some pictures. Like, good on you, mate.
Singles near you.
Yeah, Jesus, it's shocking. It's just out of control. I don't really understand how or why people constantly fall for it myself. A696 in chat said, would love to chat transport deeper into the future. Oh, sorry, that's a bit of a separate thing there. Well, Ace, I'd love to have you on the other show that I do, so maybe I'll tap you on the shoulder for that, for the other show, because yeah, that'd be a perfect kind of angle to dive into. All right, so that was from the Vulgar Uplander himself. I've been super busy this week. I haven't been able to catch up on his shows he's put out there, but if you haven't checked it out, yeah, get on over to YouTube and search the Vulgar Uplander. Elslack puts out lots of entertaining and positive, and I was going to say not negative, but yeah, it's very entertaining content.
Very raw. He's been a little bit MIA this week. I think he said he was a bit under the weather, and plus he's got Genesis and his missus' birthday as well, so he's talking about how he's playing with fire, going away on the day of a birthday to Vegas. So yeah, we may not see much of him in the future. I don't know. But I was a little bit lost to what to feel about this week's drops for the pass. I could see he's using it, so I'm not impressed, but it is what it is. But I could see he's actually used his property background, so I was like, okay, maybe he likes this one, so he might be positive. But yeah, I'd just say it's more of the same, really. So they haven't really impressed me so far with week one, but it is what it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see that. I pressed play on the video and I watched it and I just went, yeah, well, okay, that's more of the same.
Yeah, it's just. I think there might be. I think my guess is they might do something special like they did for the Bitcoin halving, where they'll have a bonus drop this week.
I hope so. For everybody's sake, I hope so.
Maybe maybe for everybody too. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I kind of said if they're not going to go all out and do something special for Genesis week, then
Well, that's it. When are they? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's 10,000 UPX on the way for Elslack. And last but not least, we've got a bit of a... Now, I have said bipolar. I'm not out looking to offend people there, but there is a bit of a flip-flop here. And I said this person was well-known. It's from the one and only Laban. He starts off by saying, there is enough small stuff to nitpick all the time, so let's focus on the positive this week. Upland has really done a good job rolling out many competitions this week, trying to cater to everyone. Good job. Some of these competitions don't make much sense, though, like the Block Explorer burn. Yeah, that never made sense to me. Everybody fight over how many Block Explorers you can burn to get some other Block Explorer. Freaking mental. He goes on to say, but they will still appeal to some. Yep. Looking at the big picture, Upland has actually survived for quite a while now. Yes, about to start their 6th year of development. I believe this must count for something. Absolutely. Development isn't standing still, quite the opposite, for sure. The platform is continuously being developed and improved. We must not forget that. Unless you're talking about the bloody widescreen crashes on mobile, because that ain't getting improved. Even when I was looking at my chats, I can't even open chats now. The bloody thing crashes. Or, you get the announcement. There's always that bloody thing. And you've got to scroll right to the end to see the latest announcement. That crashes, widescreen crashes now too. Sorry. That's Laban's positive thing, and I'm jumping in there with my negativity. But he goes on to say, we must all be grateful for the new members joining. They could potentially buy a property from us, so let's give them a warm welcome instead of painting a bad picture of Upland in general. Let's all pitch in together. Super positive. Anything to say on any of that before we move on?
Tried to be positive. I don't know if he stayed there the whole time, but he tried.
It's pretty good.
They have put out a whole heap of different competitions, and like we always say in Upland, there's too much for everybody to do everything. So I think most of us have all focused. So those who like to race are doing the stake races and having a crack at that on the Genesis track, which from what I understand is huge and takes forever, even in a fast car. So even the racers, some of them aren't so happy about that. The burning, well, some people like to burn stuff, so good on them. I'm not going to burn any of mine. Why would I burn stuff that will get another Block Explorer, which is less rare than the ones that I burnt?
Yeah,
that's my take on that. I'll leave that alone. The competition, there's 30-odd thousand players, so it doesn't matter what Upland do. Someone's not going to be happy, and I think they've got enough stuff out there for us to all have a crack at. If you can't find something that you want to do this week, well then, when are you? Because even if you're like you, just wants to buy and sell properties, well, this is your perfect week to have been doing that, buying and selling and earning a few points. I know you don't give a toss about the badge, but your top 200 gets you a block explorer as well. I don't think it would have been too hard for you to get up there if you put some effort in there. I know you got IRL stuff to worry about as well. So to get top 200, I don't think it would have been that hard if you really wanted to. Yeah, so I think Upland have done well. Like I said, they can't get everything right, and they're not going to please everybody all the time. But there's plenty of stuff out there for us to do this week. Even if you aren't going to Vegas, which obviously we aren't, sadly. I know you don't want to go, but I'd love to go. I just don't have a spare, 20 plus K to get there and back again.
Yeah, for a 2-day trip, yeah.
I'd make more of it. If I went over there, I'd stay there for a lot longer than 2 days. I'm not flying.
Yeah.
I'm not spending more time on the plane than I am there.
50 hours travel time. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with Laban.
Well, we have Brabant's joined us over in the StreamYard chat too. Now, Brabant is you would have missed it at the start of the show, Laban. We did cover that quite extensively. So Brabant was one of the people that was affected heavily by that. I think he was number 2.
Yeah.
On the leaderboard. So
6,500 points. Yeah.
Yeah, with the leaderboard change. So I believe that's kind of. Now I said this is a bit of a bipolar flip flop. Well, so Laban was pretty positive there. So. That vibe was short-lived, though, as he followed up a bit later to say, I need to rant a little bit about the leaderboard system. That it hasn't been implemented yet in the app is one thing, absolutely, but that's not what annoys me the most. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Laban, but you're talking about the gamified earnings as well. He goes on to say, my concern is the slow update time of upwards of 36 hours. Many people invest a great deal of time and money and want to come in the top 10. To get a grasp of where they stand, they need to either wait for an update or overcompensate to hopefully move some spots up. This annoys me in regards to the structure ornament challenge. I spent a great deal of time figuring out what properties I could decorate with what I had. I put them in the right collections to become active and then moved the crates around. And yes, I used Excel for this to keep track. My score on the leaderboard has not changed while others have. Now, soon, they'll take the first snapshot, and I have no clue if they counted my points wrong or if other people have made a big push. Yes, absolutely. 36
100%.
hours updating on a competition-based thing is nowhere near good enough. I think I said at the onset that this is blockchain. The EOS blockchain gets updated every 3 minutes. That's why you have to wait 3 minutes after you buy a property and this, that, and the other thing. Why are we still doing manual updated leaderboards? The interns fat fingering the buttons in the head office. I don't know.
Why is that not updated every 3 minutes by a bot? 100% agree with that. 100%.
Why isn't it not in game?
Yeah, and I've got the same problem at the moment. I'm on the what do you call it? The bubble for the top 10 for this Genesis Week challenge.
Yeah.
So I need to keep an eye on that, and it'll get to the 2 a.m., which is the finish time. And if I haven't been able to successfully sort of move myself up a little bit to give myself a bit of a buffer, I'm going to have a nervous wait. And what time does that nervous wait stop? If I keep logging in every hour for like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 tomorrow afternoon, lunchtime, like when does the final, like I won't know whether I've got that. And then you'll think for it'll be 12 hours and you go, sweet, it must be right now. And then all of a sudden out come the top 10 or whatever, and you're not on there. And you're like, huh, what happened?
You know what's funny? There was way back in the day when I think it might have been Fresno might have been opened. It was definitely it was only San Francisco and Fresno, and there was all of these minting challenges. We had to mint we had to get to 50% San Francisco to open up one of the Manhattan bubbles or something like that. I don't know if I'm confusing that process, but it was one of these competitions where I think it ended up being me and I forget his name, guy that runs the dog patch in San Francisco. I'm blanking on his name, but anyway, it was, I believe it was him and I were in this battle for whatever it was. I forget if it was minting or buying or whatever the hell it was, and it came down to. It looked like I won on the leaderboard it showed. It had me in first place. I believe it was in game. What it was, and then. The next block updated and he just pipped me on the post. So they used to do that sort of stuff in game. It used to be tracked in game. So
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that many leaderboards. There's a leaderboard for this. There's a leaderboard for that. You got an overall leaderboard. It's just freaking.
Oh, well, this
Yeah,
week's an exception because you got
it's
all these
really
different
dumb.
competitions, so that's fair enough. But yeah, it should be in game. It should be updated more like every 3 minutes. So I should know 2 that whether I manage to hang on to top 10 or not. Not still be unsure until they announce the final, leaderboard or whatever it's called. But yeah, I mean, Barbara and Smith has put a few comments in there saying stuff like that, and I 100% agree with him. But we can only assume that Upland have been super busy this year with Sparklet and what's in relation to that. So maybe everything's taken a back burner to get that up and going because that is the future of Upland. If they don't get it right, that could be a problem.
Well, that's always the excuse. We've got to push out the minimum viable product. We've got to keep the lights on in the office. Yeah, but you can't just keep throwing new shit on the wall. You got to go back and clean some of it up. Otherwise, you know what kind of house you're going to live in.
I mean, they've had a lot of USD sales of late, and to be fair, most of them are sold out, which, well done, Upland. You're making money and players are happy to buy it. I mean, you discussed it last week, the bundles for the structural ornaments, well, they weren't bundles like you suggested it wouldn't be. And as a result, they haven't sold because you're paying too much for one structural ornament. If those prices were in UPX and not dollars, that's about right. So they've, in other words, they're probably 2 to 3 times too much in dollars because they're only one. Like, I love them. I'd love to have a whole set, but I'm not forking out, best part of $100 US, which is, 150 our money, for 5 of these things. Like, it's just too much money. And I think the number last time they tried to do this with structural ornaments, they didn't sell either, and they left them there for about a week or so, and then went, last chance to buy them, and they're gone forever, which I guess is great for those that did get some because they're going to be rarer than what they thought they were going to be. But
well, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I FOMO'd into one myself, but the price. I was just looking at the price account. No,
they look great, and I've seen a few shots on Twitter and stuff like that of people that have donned them on, and they look good, and I would love to have a whole set, especially the department one, but I'd love to have a whole bunch of them. But at $20 for one, I just can't do it. I'd rather buy a property and earn an income.
Yeah, well, I used to do that back in the day with the Locky Rocket Llama. I think that was Genesis Week a couple of years ago. I bought up dozens upon dozens of those. I think that might have been 12,000 UPX or something like that. 20, I don't know, 20 at a stretch. But yeah, I gobbled up as many as I could. Definitely should have had an UPX option there. I think it's, well, less said the better. There should have been an UPX option. Put it that way.
I think UPX is too far out of whack.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Cheers for that 666 Elslack and Laban. You've all earned yourselves 10,000 UPX after fees. Reminder that if you want to submit a QIPS and you want to claim your prize for doing so, you have to include your in-game name in your submission. Link in the description. All right, well, I didn't get my wish to kind of race through this, but I'm hanging in there. I'm not dead yet. We'll move on. In this week's Getting to Know Community Members segment, care of Mesme and the other members of the Dynamic Node Builders team, they're featuring Angry Ursia, who is currently an executive with a net worth of 22.25 million UPX. He's got 773 properties and just under 19 Spark. His home residence is in the Avalon Park neighborhood of Chicago. Angry has been a long-time supporter of all the stuff we do on here, and he is almost always featured in the QIPS. Didn't get one this week, but he does have a couple in the bank ready to go. Where have we got? Here he is here. Oh, I skipped ahead, didn't I? All right, we'll do this first, and then we'll go back and have a sneaky peek. So, in-game name, Angry Ursia, Uplander since June 2022. Been to Vegas? No. Guilty pleasure? Food. Is food a guilty pleasure? You got to eat food, don't you? Expensive food, maybe. Tattoos? No. Bucket list? Own a property with a view. If you could start a charity, disaster relief, pet peeves, spiteful behavior. Most common internet search history, sports, introvert or extrovert, introvert, celebrity you know the most about, George Ruth. I don't know who that is.
No,
what do you do for a living? Not authorized to use an umbrella during the rain. What the hell would that be? Is that a police officer or something? Some security thing? Don't know. I do know that they have to be cryptic. You can't just say what you did. And 3 Uplanders you chat with regularly. Biog, Doogs, XX, and Dizzy D3N3. Apologies for butchering your name. So yeah, normally I do a sneaky peeky and then do that, but let's do the sneaky peeky now. So what's Angry got going on here? Progress chart. Ooh, that's pretty hardcore hodler right there. Look at that. Number of properties, very linear growth. Not much to see there. Very steady. And then a couple of big purchases here. Drop down on the mint net worth and properties net worth. Mint net worth tried to get over top of the properties net worth, but then dropped down a bit and tracking back up. So good on you, mate. Pretty steady as she goes there.
How much sparks he got? Because I know he does a bit of hunting.
Just under 19. So yeah, 18.89, I think I said.
Not a bad effort, yeah.
No.
18.89.
So, now, Angry is one of the people who went on over and followed up on the campaign to get in touch with Mesme and the Dynamic Node Builders team, as did Elslack, Maui, 6 Week 6, Laban, and Jaded Priest. Oh, reminds me, there was something else going on with Jaded Priest as well. Because they did that, they are all going into the running to win 50,000 UPX after fees, but Mesme's also put up 2 runner-up prizes of some very cool-looking birdhouse map assets. So we're going to go give that away right now. So the first roll will be 50,000. I'll take the name off. We'll roll 2 more times. Good luck, those that got involved. Laban, I think Jaded Priest might have it. Jaded Priest. Congratulations, 50,000 UPX on the way for you. I'll remove that. We'll roll it 2 more times. This is for the
You're not sharing
asset.
if you were meant to be.
Am I not? Oh, well, I think I'm scamming it. There you go. Sorry.
Yep.
Laban's got that one. Sorry. Laban's got that one. And one.
Gee, that's not very loud.
Is it super loud, is it?
Sorry.
I set this up in a hurry. So 6 Week 6, you've won as well. Thank you very much. All right, I'll get out of there. Get out of there. Now, I wonder if I can... Laban, if I could hassle you, if you're able to, can you send me a link to the DM where that Block Explorer deal with Jaded Priest all played out? I'd like to cover that a little bit. If you can't, that's all right. I'll be able to find it. It's just a bit friggy to do while I'm still going on. So that was the special DMB prize wheel thing. You can still reach out to Mesme and get yourself involved. That was just a special little campaign. There's a link to the description to the DMB. If there's somebody else that you'd like to know about, or if you'd like to get involved, send Mesme a DM or get involved with the Dynamic Node Builders and tell them that the UDU podcast sent you. All right, more giveaways time. Last week's challenge, the weekly challenge, was to get yourself in the contest channel within the NBA server. And if you were attending or are attending Genesis Week, let us know what you are most looking forward to and why. And of course, if you're not attending Genesis Week, let us know what's your #1 most awesome announcement that you'd love to hear come out of this year's Genesis Week. Prizes, well, your name's going to roll on a list of all entrants for the chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. You get yourself another entry into the massive 2024 end-of-year prize giveaway draws. And probably the best prize of all, your name's going to go into the draw to win another killer 3-piece graveyard map asset set from show sponsor Laban and his Metaventure Graveyard Goods, currently located in Oakland and Los Angeles. So I will endeavour to press share his screen. Thank you, Laban. Yes, I'll do it probably this time. Is that the right wheel? Yes, I believe so. So I'm going to roll this one. This is for the 10,000 UPX from me. Is that correct? 5-star, Jazzy Jazz. Congratulations, Jazz. 10,000 UPX on the way for you. Now I need to jump over to this one. It's the same list of names here. Now this is going to be for the 3-piece graveyard set, care of Laban and the map asset Metaventure Graveyard Goods. And that goes to... What are the chances of that happening?
Boo.
Chances of that?
Well done, Lifestyle, but damn it. I wanted that one.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Should have shuffled.
I wonder if that's a thing. Let's test that out, eh? Oh, well, let's see what happens. Whatever this man's got, whoever this is on, 5,000 bonus. Oh, sorry. Get back to here. Alan. 5,000 bonus. And then, I guess we'll know here. I'll switch back over to this one, and I'll roll this one too. If this goes Alan, then we know it's scamified. If not, I'll give them 5,000 as well. L/Slack. L/Slack is... Yeah, okay. So
there's only one spot further, though.
Lifestyle Jazz. Yeah, well, that's
There's
true.
only... You might have to shuffle more often.
Yes. So, congratulations. It's
Oh,
pretty
Lifestyle killing it.
Absolutely. Jazzy Jazz. All right, so that was last week's challenge. Now, of course, there is a 5,000 UPX bonus as well for one of the comments, one of the entries that sometimes I pick the funniest one or the best one. I just like this one. This one's from Disco Surzan, who I always butcher that name, better known as Trendy Prop. His entry was, I'd love to be there in Las Vegas, but the time, money, and effort involved in traveling there from Austria, not Australia, Austria, for a 2-day event just doesn't make sense at the moment. However, what I would love to see is full integration of languages and local time to provide a truly localized user experience. Additionally, the concept of mobile first is a bit outdated. Ideally, applications and websites should be built with responsive design at their core, ensuring they are cross-platform compatible and browser agnostic by nature. Here on both of those points. So 5,000 UPX as another bonus on the way to Trendy Prop.
Just to add to that, and this is one of my bugbears with their announcements, especially when they change the times of certain things, and it can get confusing with daylight savings changes and all that sort of stuff around the world, with American changing and we changing at different times. I know from other projects I'm involved in, Discord definitely has a feature where they can put in the time and it will convert it to your local time wherever you are in the world. Simple bloody little feature. It takes them 10 seconds to insert, and we instantly see exactly what time it is without having to do the maths and go, right, 9 a.m. PT, with the hour back, stuff like that. It's going to be at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. and stuff like that. It's simple. Like, I don't know what it requires to put that in game as well, but to put that in Discord, which is where most of us get our information from, it's 5-second fix. 4 years on, they still haven't done it. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, 100% agree there, mate. Absolutely. All right, so that was last week's challenges. This week's challenge is to get yourself in the contest channel within the NBA server. Let us know what you thought about the Bermuda full expansion being chosen as the Genesis Week City release. If you are getting involved in the city, or I should stop saying city release, city expansion, how'd you go? If you're sitting it out, let us know why. Again, your name will roll on a list of all entrants for the chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. Of course, this will also get yourself another entry into the 2024 end of year prize giveaway draws. Not only that, your name will again go in the draw to win the final killer 3-piece graveyard map asset set from show sponsor Laban and his Metaventure Graveyard Goods, currently located in Oakland and LA. Don't forget that if you own a property in Lone
And soon to be Queens.
always pick up...
And Queens now.
Awesome. So, yes, if you do own a property in Lone Mountain, you can always send him a DM and you'll get 50% off the recommended retail price. Links in the description. Show him some love. So, you got one more chance there, Swally. One more chance for a three-piece set.
I'm probably just going to go buy it when I get some UPX. I spent $2.5 million. I'm pretty broke at the minute. So, sorry, Laban. It's going to have to be a couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks, but I'll get out there one day and grab a set.
Yes. All right, before we move on to the live participants giveaway, there's one extra little piece of shenanigans that popped up. Now, thank you for sending this through to me, Laban. check this out. Now, I am somebody who has been infamously impacted by this. My Block Explorer, my custom 1-of-1 Block Explorer has been ripped off, cloned, bastardized more times than I could probably count. The latest one, there's a whole bunch of nonsense was said. No, it's definitely not a copy. It's just very close. No, it's, you zoom in and you can see it's a dead set copy and they've just put extra pieces on it. So don't give me that rubbish. Supposedly this has been fixed up, but have a go at this. So poor old Jaded Priest, he said, Lisette, please, can you check what's happened here? 2 players were given the exact same Director's Block Explorer. Raf 0777 got his 2 weeks before me, but is it possible that the image could have been changed later because it had been done in other cases? Obviously, a mistake has been made. Yeah, it's legit exactly the same. So, I don't know if Lisette followed up on it, but yeah. Not good. 1-of-1. Not quite. So yes, hopefully they get sorted out for you. As I said, somebody who has had their Block Explorer ripped off, it's not a very nice feeling.
Look, the shadow side on the Jaded Priest is slightly darker, so I don't know, does that count as making it different? Like it ever so looks slightly darker. The sun has gone down a bit later.
That was what was. I couldn't believe the response I got when I was told, no, it's clearly not a copy. It just looks really close to it. I'm like, no, mate. You zoom in and you can see the lines from my Block Explorer, and you can see where they've just put an extra piece on it. So yeah, no, it sucks.
Why would you want to copy anyway? Because that means you've copied someone. That means you don't have a 1-of-1 either.
Yeah, well, I don't think they have. I think they've both probably asked for the same kind of close to the same thing, and old mate in the dungeon who's making the 3D Block Explorers, he just looks and goes, well, I've already done this. Don't even bother changing the colour. Just put it over there. Which really sucks. So, Swally, it looks like we've got a few extra people that have jumped on.
Yeah.
Who we got there?
Gameland and Boyder.
Boyden?
Yeah.
So let me
and
add these ones in.
Upland.
Gameland.
It's just scraped in.
I should say too, Trees from last week. I can't get in contact with you, mate. If you're listening or watching, try and get in contact with me, whether it be on X or DM or in-game chat or something. I need to get you your prize, but I don't know how to get you. So normally for the old wheels, I'd roll this and you would get yourself your choice of a Samurai Aquatics map asset, a this, that, or other thing. A little bit different this week. I'm going to roll the wheel once and maybe I'll just do it. We'll explain as we go. Now this is probably going to be crazy loud too because I didn't adjust any of that. Apologies if you're listening with headphones.
No, that's good.
All right, Brabant might have it. Okay, so I'll note that down. That's Brabant. I did do this up super quick, just as we were about to go live. I didn't put much thought in it, but so that was that. Laban has won it as the live participant. So now we're going to goink that out of there, and we're going to say 10,000 UPX for a mystery map asset. This is what Laban's going to win. I said Laban. Sorry, Brabant. Brabant. Ooh, he's got 10,000. There you go. Simple as that. Just as well I'm not going to Bermuda. I've dished out way more than I was thinking to do this week.
You'll be right.
All good. I'll be right. All right, that's all I've got for this week. Swally, anything on your radar?
Nah.
Anything else on your radar, mate?
Just going to be watching, I guess, Genesis Live. So there'll be a few content creators that said they're going to try and do as much as they can. So I'll probably tune into some of that, see what's going on, look forward to what the announcements are. I mean, we all speculate that it's something. What is it? Sparkle that's going to be one of them. So that's what I'm hoping to hear probably the most, to be fair. Because I'm excited by that and potential of where that's going. Otherwise, everyone that is there, have a good time. Everyone that has to watch from afar like us, is what it is, but shit happens.
Yeah, it does suck that they're not doing more stuff for the people that aren't attending live.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and I put the shout out. Elslack, he kind of mentioned that he was going to mix it up in the go-kart racing. So if you're out there, give him hell, Elslack. See how you go.
I did see his name
Right,
on
on
a few races.
very good. All right, I've hung in there. I'm going to get off this and go and die, and then I'll try and get all of that UPX sent out. So a reminder that if you are in a time zone that fits in with the Thursday night recording, a streaming schedule of starting at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you'd like to get involved, the link to the weekly podcast is always dropped in the NBA server about 15 minutes before the show starts. That way you can get involved before we kick off. Lots of ways that you can win different prizes and this, that, and the other thing. You don't have to be involved live. As I said, there's plenty of UPX being given away tonight, just being involved in our little community over there. And that invitation extends to any of the other channels, podcast productions. I have been pushing out a few more interviews, taking a break this week, which is just as well because I'm half dead. Got a few more already banked, ready to go for that. So if you have an Upland NFT or Metaverse product, service, or event to promote, then send me Ben68 a DM or get yourself in the NBA server, which is linked in the description. And yes, don't forget to check out Laban's Map Asset Metaventure, Graveyard Goods, and a reminder that if you own a property in Lone Mountain, hint, hint, it's probably worth going over there and picking one up on the secondary. You could probably buy a property and then get a few Graveyard Goods map assets almost for free. So send Laban a DM for more details. Links to everything we've covered on the show are in the description. All the very best, and we shall catch you later.
Good night.